So I was talking with a friend, and by the way, I'm only going to use the word friend moving forward, whether somebody's a client or not. Everybody's friends. That's how it's going to go. I was talking with a friend who was saying that she really admired my confidence, and that she wanted to get more confidence in her life. And I was like, it's not confidence; it's just realness. And and it's good to think of it like a baby. You wouldn't call a baby being confident if they spit out food that they didn't like, or they only talked with other babies that they were interested in. Rather, they just haven't been socialized inside of our artificial matrix. They're just being real. It's plain old authenticity. And I and so good. So this friend didn't have to do anything. She doesn't have to, garner anything inside of her. She's authentic underneath all of her programming. We all are. And it's the time to let go of it all, because all of the inauthentic in our world is dying. Nobody cares anymore. Celebrity culture is ending. We are seeing through the matrix, seeing through the veils, and we do not value the inauthentic anymore. The old world of being able to create and cultivate value through advertising, through sexism, through racism, through all the ways that we sell something that doesn't actually have value, we're seeing through it. We see that this is just an illusion. And if I don't give my attention, if I don't consider it valuable, it's not valuable. And this is the sort of tops of all the pyramidal structures of the world, right? CEOs and artists and everybody who is inauthentic, we do not care anymore. We've reached those absurdist levels where like a conceptual art piece was just sold, a banana taped to a wall, for $6.5 million. I feel like that's like the end of an era. Like that was peak absurdism, peak 1984. And that the kind of smoke and mirrors show of drumming up value for that stuff isn't happening anymore. I was just at this fundraising event over the weekend, which is very unusual for me. I didn't grow up with money. I've never been to something like this before. But there were, it was in this multi-million-dollar mansion, and I went for a particular purpose to meet a particular person. But inside of it was a lot of art. There was a silent auction, and there was a silent auction for all these photographs that were taken around the world, that were quite whitewashed, I would say, from a colonizer point of view, very objective versus immersive. They were black and white photos of places like Brazil and people in Brazil, Angola, Senegal, India, and almost felt sinful that the most colorful places on our planet were stripped of color and seen through a black and white eye, like photography from 100 years ago. And they were also matted in white frames and really, I would say, stripped of soul and inauthentic. They weren't going for anything. Nobody was bidding on them. And this was an environment of a lot of folks inside the matrix who benefit from the matrix. There were definitely authentic people there, and there were definitely inauthentic people there. But even the inauthentic, let's say, people, relatively inauthentic, weren't bidding on these things. And as much as I would, we wanted to give funds to this good cause, I was glad to see that. I was glad to see that there wasn't a taste for it anymore, even in these wealthy halls. And this is what I see. I see it in every single art form. We see it in comedy. There are all these comedians that are being called out for the punching down that's been done in the comedy scene for so long, which keeps those pyramid-shaped structures going, right? It keeps the power structures going. There's no value for that anymore. That's an artificial power grab. That's somebody who's inauthentic. That's somebody who is actually acting out of pain. And in the new world, and the new comedians who are being vaulted are warm, friendly, communal, not punching down, punching up if punching at all. And that's the way that it's an enormous populist uprising where, again, only authenticity has any value. And I want us to picture this world. Picture a world where you get to be completely authentic, because that world is opening up. where imagine there's no paywalls, and then imagine there's no internal emotional walls. That it's a world in which you don't have to perform, you don't have to put on a mask, you don't have to pretend to be anything. You get to be fully authentic. And anybody who is inauthentic, they're the ones who are kicked out of the tribe, so to speak, or at least, quarantined for a little while, because we just don't tolerate it anymore. I think we're right there. We're right there where we decide what we value. We're not buying the CEO billionaire story anymore. We don't have to buy any of them, any of these inauthentic stories. So let's keep imagining it together. Imagine a world where only authenticity is the currency, only real world skill is the currency, that there are no walls, no paywalls, and no walls other than those natural ones where you're aversive like the baby to somebody being inauthentic. Those natural boundaries kick in. And maybe as the holiday season approaches, you go for authenticity, go for none of those man-made things, go for gifts with soul, with your full heart in them, and keep putting your value there, because it really is the only value. It always has been the only value. We're just finally seeing it.